So thought I'd just give a review of what I watched yesterday, which was the first 7 episodes of what is it called? House of the Dragon, the Game of Thrones spin-off. Um, just checking when the next episodes are out. So I think that this was the penultimate episode, the one that I just finished watching just now. Um, so to be honest, I like House of the Dragon and Game of Thrones, but there's one thing that is like almost impossible to get over, and that's that it is so pro monarchy. It almost to a disgusting level, you know. And I would say that like Game of Thrones being so big a few years ago is what's more than likely got so many people these days who seem to be so incredibly pro monarchy and pro religion. It seems to have brought back that love. It's so ridiculously disgusting to like to watch and like. So let's take for example, I think it was episode 6, where due to a family dispute, right? So due to these two members of the family not getting on because one of them wants to wear like a shiny pebble hat, right? You've got one side of them got like through this war that's going on. One side can't feed the city anymore, right? The city's gone. The city has no food, so people are starving. So as an attack, the other one sends food so that the people will say, "Oh, we love her. She just sent us food. She cares for us, even though we are living in the walls of this other king, right?" And you think, what the fuck, man? And then all the soldiers are running around and they're grabbing the food out of people's hands. You think this is straight up like what happens? This is straight up what the church do. This is straight up what monarchy do. Do you know what I mean? It's really hard to like. So I'll try my best to in a minute get into that the show is how good the show is, but just need to get some stuff out the way first. And like the other thing, this whole thing. Obviously, there's spoilers in this. So like this whole thing of them now getting dragon ride. There's dragon riders who aren't three dragon riders who aren't like what do they call it? Who are bastards basically, right? The one of them's the kid of the Valerian guy, and the other two are the have Targaryen blood. And you think, what a ridiculous thing to be pushing onto people. Only, only members of the monarchy can ride dragons, and then sometimes people can ride dragons, but they have the blood of the monarchy in them. Fuck off. The stupidest shit. Like, I was watching that stuff, and on top of that, like the way that they depict the difference between highborn people, right? So essentially monarchy and religious fanatics, and the way that they depict the everybody else. So like you have the people, the people of the town are pretty much running around and fucking talking like this, ain't they? And they are depicted to be so fucking stupid, which is maddening. And like you look at the people who can ride the dragons now, right? One guy is gets on his knee, bends his knee instantly. Do you know what I mean? Bends his knee instantly and goes, "I will serve you, my queen," and whatever. And then the other two just seem like fundamentally fucking stupid. And you think is such a fucking horrible show when you really get down to what it is. Do you know what I mean? There's nothing in this that is basically it's a pro-military, pro-police, pro-monarchy, pro-church show. Like the majority of shit. And what was crazy, the acoustics when you take out like fucking the mattress and clothes, like so much reverb. Um, yeah, that really fucked me off, man. And on top of that, like, what's going to happen now is like because House of the Dragon is isn't this the last time? Is this the last time that they have dragons? Is this around the time that the dragons die out? So this is the way this is a way of programming people to say that if you let normal people ride dragons, this is what happens. But it was the same as what happened with Hitler, I guess. Like crazy bad example, but also what I believe happened there was it was highborn people setting somebody up who was working class with ideologies that they would push on him that would be made into what would make it so that people would say, let's not ever have a working class person into government and politics ever again. So they push this thing that gets the whole world to hate them, right? Like essentially this shit that the USA and the UK and multiple other countries do anyway. They carry out testing on their people. Do you know what I mean? Um, and you think of that's what they're trying to do with this show. They're getting these like doofuses. Do you know what I mean? Like what one of them's like you think he's this cringy guy who's just like telling a story in a pub, right? And the other guy like sort of half looks the part, but he's also a fucking idiot. Do you know what I mean? And then the other guy is like was always sort of a weaker person to his younger brother, who to his older brother, and was sort of like begging for attention, sort of thing, right? It's disgusting how they depict this shit. And what they're going to do is they're going to make it so that those people are what make it so that the dragons don't want to work for the Targaryen family ever again. It's fucking horrible programming. It's like a disgusting programming. Like just watch it back and look at how they depict like anybody of any sort of like anybody that's not a noble family or royal. They either have a disability or they're just stupid as fuck or they're begging. Do you know what I mean? Like this is not something that is this is made to have a bunch of normal people cheering for their enemies. That's what this is. It's having a bunch of normal people cheer that the people that are holding them down are just rubbing it in their face how fucking how stupid and inbred they are. And I think what it should be showing is like how fucking disgusting it is of what people will do in these constant wars that are just people bickering. You know what I mean? Just rich people bickering. That's what you should be seeing. Rich people bickering and everybody else taking the fallout. Um, Positive shit. I mean, it's acted sort of well. The guy, what's his name? Matt something. Terrible actor. Like everything that he's been in, shocking actor. Uh, he's in that film with. I think he was a Doctor Who for a while, and then he's in that film with. Coincidentally, they call him Damon, right? So I think again, just more trying to more rich uh, nonsense, saying, look at this guy. He's a terrible actor, and his name is Damon, which is like a sign of the devil and whatever, right? Like, let's just get it straight. The devil's a piece of shit. Jesus is a piece of shit. Organized religion in itself, just by depicting light and dark like this, is utter scum. I just want to get that out of the way. It's children's story shit. Um, and it's just another way for these religious fanatics to shove the Bible down your throat. So yeah, that guy really annoying because you think that that character could be super cool if the actor wasn't shite. But also it feels just trash even saying that like that actor that role could be cool when it's just such fucking disgusting programming. Do you know what I mean? You've got Scarface. He's a cool character. I like his character. Um, yeah, I guess like I like his character. However, it's also just another one of those things that's incredibly cringy. Or like he also sort of looks like a foot. He looks a bit like Sarah Jessica Parker. Um, yeah, there's just so much of it is Crash, pro-monarchy, anti-peasant, as it were. And it's just hard to see past that when giving a review of it. It really is. It's basically just this is an advert for this is an advert for kicking up a pyramid. This is an advert for passing bricks up the pyramid. That's what this is. Literally, there's lines in it saying you're nothing but a pawn and shit. Do you know what I mean? It's bad. It's really bad. Um, I think that like in terms of the difference between that and Game of Thrones, but my opinion was that in Game of Thrones that they destroyed the last series because it was advertising a way of living that was fucked up, and so many people were obsessed with it. That's what I thought. I thought they destroyed the last series so that to say like if you're living life this way, if you're stabbing everybody in the back and murdering children to get ahead, um, and you love that that's brought this out of you, then like basically we're just going to burn the last series because they burnt every character. Do you know what I mean? I rewatched the last series recently, like thinking maybe it wasn't as bad as I remember. It's worse when you rewatch it. It's so much worse. Um, and the thing is, right, is like what actually happens in it isn't that bad. The storyline isn't that bad. It's how it's acted, how there's no substance to it, how it's just like played out with no depth almost. It almost seems like something like it's fucked up, man. And these enemies that had been the main enemy that you've been so fearful of. Winter is coming, the whole series, right? And then winter comes and they just get shanked by like just stabbed one time. It doesn't matter. There's all this shit about like, oh, it was a little girl that's got no relevance, right? If a little girl walks up to you and stabs you in the torso in the middle of the street, it's gonna be just the same as if you were stabbed by a man. It's really irrelevant who did the stabbing. What's super relevant is it just took the stabbing from one blade and that murdered all of them. That was all it took. These like, oh no, our whole lives there hasn't been winter for so many generations. One stab, dead, all of them. And you thought like, what the fuck is this shit, man? Like that seems that seems like I think that's somebody writing a story that didn't write an end personally, or wrote like a cloudy sort of end, and maybe like botched some stuff into the middle to make that more exciting, and which meant that the end was fucked up. And now with House of the Dragon, like I don't know, I've got the book in there, but I started reading it and I thought this is fucking trash. It was so boring, man. I couldn't like get it. It seemed to be. I wasn't sure if this was just the first few pages or something, but it seemed to be written like a fucking encyclopedia. So I just thought like, well, I don't want to read. I don't want to read an encyclopedia. a false encyclopedia. I don't have any requirement to do that. And it's yeah, I Ship with the Dragons is cool, but it's like it looks great, and you can really like fall into the storyline, right? You can really like get heavily into the storyline, and I will be watching the last episode, and to an extent it's enjoyable, but it's almost like watching it's just watching programming to say that these people are fucking great. Allow them to send you to war and murder your brothers and sisters uh, because they wear a shiny hat. Very crazy. It seems so easy for the town to revolt as well. They revolt all the time. They revolt and just murder all the soldiers all the time. And you think that maybe that is a little bit of the point. Do you know what I mean? That anybody appointed in those positions, like, they can just get dragged out of them at any time, I guess. But yeah, I mean, all in all, like I'm just so miserable at at what it is. I'm just so miserable at like what the story is that I can't get past that really. So anyway, House of the Dragon, watch it. It's almost like watching an advert for. It's almost like watching an advert for drinking bleach. Um, because like the majority of the people that are spending time watching this uh, are also like basically the act of watching this show is being murdered by these people. Do you know what I mean? Well, what it is a show depicting that if you're highborn or if you're monarchy, then you are worth more than other people, and that the magic will stop once that magic gets to common born people. So essentially, by watching this, you are being murdered by those people. So I'd say just the same as like it would be much better to learn how to cook than to go and buy food, you know, because trust me, from somebody that has worked at the highest level, they keep doing this thing where they tell people I haven't worked at the highest level that I was just a burger flipper. You know why? That's little rat dogs who don't want it to be that they need to sell the prospect of going into the catering industry and enjoying it. Because if somebody that got to the highest level of the catering industry just goes, fuck that, why would I want to do this anymore? It's boring as fuck. On top of that, you longed out teaching me shit that you could have taught me in like a week and you spread it over years. Do you know what I mean? They can't have people going around and saying this huge industry is shite. And now I'm moving on to the creative industry, and I'm telling you how that is just a weapon used by rich people to keep poor people down and to keep normal people down and to have them cheering on the fact that that's what they're doing.